Happy opening day, everybody, and welcome back to MoodTube. It's been a long, dark offseason, but now I'm back, and so is the NFL. This season, I'm going to bring you a new and improved version of MoodTube. I'll be posting shorter videos more frequently throughout the week in order to help me help you better keep up with the crazy world that is the National Football League. But don't worry, I'll still be posting the longer weekly episode of MoodTube as I did last year. I'm going to keep this week's episode short and sweet, but before I get into breaking down this weekend's matchups, it's time for me to again take my yearly pledge. Here goes. I, Paul Malamud, do solemnly swear to try my hardest to keep my Jets bias away from MoodTube. But if and when I do fail to do so, well, sorry, what are you going to do about it? Last year, I predicted the Jets were going to go 6-10. They surpassed my expectations and that of almost everybody in the NFL and went 8-8. This year, most of the so-called experts are picking them to go 9-7 or 8-8 and miss the playoffs. But I think they're going to do better than that. I predict the Jets are going to finish the year with a 10-6 record, which will be good enough for them to end their long playoff drought. Now for this week's matchups. First, we have tonight's game. The Packers at the reigning Super Bowl champs, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are giving up 6 points in tonight's matchup. Now, I believe that we're in for an epic game tonight, and common knowledge certainly tells me to pick the Seahawks, but I'm not going to do that. Not only is this a rematch of the Fail Mary game that everyone is talking about, but it's also a rematch of a great playoff game from last season. With all the chest thumping that certain Seahawks have been doing all offseason, I believe that they could fall victim to a Super Bowl hangover in Week 1. I'm taking the Packers to win this one outright. Our first game on Sunday, we have a great NFC South matchup. We have the Saints at the Falcons, with the Saints giving up 3 points. Now, I think the Falcons are going to be much better this year than they were last year. I believe they're going to retake the Panthers and win a wild card to get themselves into the playoffs. I'm just too high on this Saints team to pick them to win this game. The defense should be even better than last year with the addition of Jairus Byrd. And we know what we can expect from Drew Brees in the offense. I'm taking the Saints to win this one, giving up 3 points. And for all you fancy people out there, I think rookie wide receiver Brandon Cooks is going to announce his arrival into the NFL with a touchdown. Next game we have are the Vikings at the Rams, with the Rams giving up 3.5. Neither of these two teams has figured out their quarterback situation. The Vikings obviously have the edge in the running game with Adrian Peterson, but I think this Rams D is going to eat Matt Castle alive. Sean Hill is going to be better than we expected, and the Rams are going to get the win. Next, we have the Browns at the Steelers. Cleveland could not have gotten a worse draw to play Week 1. The Steelers are going to be hungry to come out and show their fans at Heinz Field that they are a better team than they were last year. Ben Roethlisberger and the offense are going to put up points, and the defense is going to do a good job of shutting the Browns out. I'm taking the Steelers, giving up 7 points. Next game, we have the Jaguars at the Eagles. Now, for this game, the Eagles are giving up 10.5 points. Now, I think the Jaguars are going to be better than people expect, but there's a reason why most people across America are picking the Eagles for Week 1 of their knockout leagues, and that's because the Eagles are just going to win this game. The Chip Kelly offense is going to put up big numbers at home, and the Eagles win big. Make sure to pick them Eagles. Next game we have is another incredible divisional matchup. We're heading back to the AFC North between the Bengals at the Ravens. The Ravens are giving up 1.5 at home. They're at home. They should be favored in a divisional game in Week 1. But I think it's going to be a slugfest. I just think I'm taking the Bengals in this one. I'm very high on the Bengals this year, and I think it's the year that Andy Dalton's going to put it all together and finally actually win a playoff game. He's going to prove that he's worth all that money he got in the offseason. I'm taking the Bengals Week 1, getting 1.5 on the road. Next game we have is the Bills at the Bears, with the Bears giving up 7 points. In my mind, this is the second easiest game to pick this week. The Bears could potentially challenge the Broncos for the league's best offense this year, with all the weapons they have to go along with Jay Cutler if he stays healthy. And although the Bills had a great defense last year, I just don't think they're going to be good enough on Sunday to keep this game within 7 points. I'm taking the Bears, giving up 7 at home. Next, we have the Redskins at the Texans, with the Texans giving up 3 points. Now, this is a very intriguing matchup in Week 1 because both teams, there are a lot of things we don't know about. How will Ryan Fitzpatrick fare as the Texans quarterback? Will RG3 finally be able to put things together in the Jay Gruden offense like he's promised he will? The one thing that we do know for sure is that J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney, the incredible man-beast rookie, are going to be lining up across from RG3. And for that reason only, I'm taking the Texans. Next game, we've got Titans at the Chiefs, with the Chiefs giving up 3.5 points. I think the Titans are going to be a much better team this year as long as Jake Locker can stay healthy. But I don't like them enough to pick them against in Week 1 against the Chiefs. Andy Reid, Bob Sund's defense. I think Jamal Charles runs wild this week. I'm taking the Chiefs, giving up 3.5. Next game, AFC East matchup. We got the Patriots giving up 4.5 points at the Dolphins. With a new and improved offensive line, the Dolphins are a dark horse team to win a wild card berth into the playoffs. It'll be interesting to see if Ryan Tannehill can finally put it all together. But there's no chance that even I am picking the Patriots to lose in Week 1. I'm taking the Patriots. Now, for the true game of the week, for this one, I'll need a little help from my main man, the Viking, Nick Mangold. It's Jets football, baby. Welcome back. Besides the fact that I would never pick against the Jets in Week 1, this is a layup pick for me. Rex Ryan defenses eat rookie quarterbacks alive, and Derek Carr is going to be getting the start for the Raiders. It's going to be no different this week. While the Jets are weak at corner if Miller doesn't play, which he likely won't, that doesn't matter. A rookie quarterback needs a good running game in order to do well in his first start. And while the Raiders did add Maurice Jones-Drew in the offseason, the Jets' run defense is just too good. In fact, their front seven is so good, I'm going to make a bold prediction to save the best run defense in the NFL this year, except it's not really that bold. Geno Smith turned his season around last year when they were playing the Raiders, and I think he's going to pick up right where he left off. The Jets are going to get this win. Let's go Gang Green, baby. Next game, we got the Panthers at the Bucs, with the Bucs giving up 2.5 points. Now, this is an interesting game because we have no way of knowing what we're going to get out of Cam Newton because of his back injury. The Bucs are going to benefit from having a new coach in Lovie Smith this year and a new quarterback in Josh McCown. I think they're going to get the season started off on the right foot, so I'm taking Tampa Bay, giving up 2.5 points at home. Now, we got the 49ers at the Cowboys, with the Cowboys getting 5 points. There are questions about the 49ers swirling around everywhere. Is this year the defense falls apart? How much should we worry about their bad preseason on offense? The defense, now I think the defense might struggle to start the year because they've lost Allen Smith. They need to get Tommy McDonald back. But I think Colin Kaepernick will pick up the slack in Week 1, and I'm taking the 49ers giving up 5 points. Now for the Sunday night game, we got the Colts visiting the Broncos, with the Broncos giving up 8 points. For the first Sunday night game, we get a rematch of Peyton's first loss from the year before. The Broncos offense is not going to skip a beat without Wes Welker. It's going to be a next man up mentality. Cody Latimer could have an interesting game. My boy Julius Thomas, I know, is going to play real well. Andrew Luck is great, and he's going to have a great year, and he's already having a great career. But I think Payton's going to be near perfect on Sunday night in order to try and get the horrible stench from last year's Super Bowl out of his mouth. I'm taking the Broncos giving up 8 points. Now for Monday night. First, we have the Giants at the Lions. The Lions giving up 6 points. That's the early game. The Giants' defense could be sneakily good this year, and I don't think the G-Men's offense is going to be nearly as bad as it was during the preseason. In fact, I like their running game this year. But I just don't think it matters this week. The Lions' offense is going to come out roaring in Week 1. With the addition of Golden Tate and rookie tight end Eric Ebron to go along with Megatron and Reggie Bush, it's going to be scary this year, the kind of offensive points Detroit's capable of putting up. I'm taking Detroit. And now, finally for the last game of the weekend, in the second Monday night game, we got the Chargers at the Cardinals, with the Cardinals giving up 3 points. Now this is another great matchup to end the week, with two teams who finished third in the two best divisions in the NFL last year. This week, I'm going to give the edge to the Cardinals, mainly because I'm a huge fan of their great defense, and also because I think my boy Andre Ellington is going to have a great start to the year and help out my fantasy teams get those W's. Now that's it for this week's picks. I look forward to a great season of football and a great season of MoodTube with you. Now, I'm going to ask you all to please send in any of your questions you might have for Ask Moody next week. And you can send them to me by email at moodysportstips@gmail.com or find me on Twitter @MoodTube. Now, I'm going to see you all next week. But in the meantime, don't forget to check out the tube because I've got sports for your every mood.